It's kickoff time for the Cigar International's Let's Talk Stil'rs show. Sponsored by Cigars International. Stop by our Bridgeville store today. Parking Chair Vodka. Respect the chair. It's a Pittsburgh thing. Forest Lodge and Campground. Cooks Forest, PA. Your adventure starts here.
Huddle up, Steelers Nation. It's time for Let's Talk Steelers. I'm your host, Randy the Tank Tantlinger, and on occasion, joined by the former NFL quarterback, Mike McMahon. Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles. I have no idea why Mike never played for the Steelers, because we're standing on the sidelines in Latrobe a couple years ago. Tomlin looks over, recognizes Mike McMahon, Pittsburgh guy, played at Rutgers, quarterback. He goes, "What are you doing here?" Mike goes, "I live here." And you could, Tomlin and Mike were on the same, Tomlin was on the staff with the Lions when Mikey was up with the Lions. And you could see Tomlin's wheels spinning. Why didn't I have you here in Pittsburgh? Anyway, that's the quarterback. He's too busy coaching the North Catholic Trojans. They're off to a lead of 4-0 here in Pittsburgh, 3A. So, you're stuck with me this week and a special guest, Steelers legend, 4 Super Bowl rings he got, JT Thomas, man. And you're going to love the conversation with JT here in a little bit. We get into the weeds a little bit. We get into the weeds. That means the deep grass, kids, for you newbies out there. We talk about the Chief, Art Rooney. We talk about, well, a hard subject people have talking about. I'll let you listen to that during the tape. We talk about the Steelers of the 70s. We talk about the Jets. Well, we just have a good time talking with JT at our locker room. Now, how remiss would I be if I did not mention, drum roll please. No drum roll. Crickets are deafening. Our new locker room for the 2025 season for Let's Talk Steelers TV show on 22 The Point, Pittsburgh, and right here on the IHeart station of power and prominence here in Wheeling, West Virginia, Fox Sports Net Radio, Wheeling-Pittsburgh, 1400 AM, 103.9 FM. The locker room will be at the Cigars International Bridgeville store. If you are a cigar lover, if your grandpappy is a cigar lover, if your Uncle Larry, if your dad, if you want to get into the cigar culture and family, because that's what it is with cigars, you got to go to the new Cigars International store up in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, right? Or get online, cigarsinternational.com. How easy is that? And great prices on all the greatest cigar brands out there. I'm a Rocky Patel guy, CAO guy, Olivia, Partagas. I guess I'm a cigar guy. I just was in Florida last week, and I bought myself at the Cigars International store in Jacksonville, Florida, a Partagas. Partagas. If you're not a cigar smoker and you want to get into it, I'm gonna highly recommend get on to Cigars International and get any Partagas. Now, you probably want to start with a light Connecticut wrap. That won't make sense to you, but it's a lighter cigar. But that's our digs for this season with Let's Talk Steelers. And we'll be taping there on Tuesdays. We're going to have prize giveaways with cigars and all kind of gifts. And we got so much going on with Cigars International this year. We got our Cigars International golf parties we're going to launch in 2026. So, look, this is the place to be. Let's Talk Steelers. So, let's get this started. We'll recap this Pittsburgh Steelers versus Seattle Sea Chickens. Did you expect to lose that game? I didn't. I thought we were going to be 4-0 after 4 games. I did not expect the Sea Chickens to come in here, and I don't want to hear about the screw-up. I don't want to hear that your young running back had a mental oopsie and cost you the game. Okay? Because when your defensive line is catching blocks and not penetrating the line of scrimmage, this leads to losing to the Sea Chickens. Okay? I'll start there. That's been my, over the last 2 weeks. What's going on with the Steelers' defensive line? It's not like the talent isn't there. Cam Hayward. Okay? Benton, I think, has high upside on him. We haven't seen the kid, the first rounder yet. But I hate to say this because I have such deep respect for Carl Dunbar, the Steelers line coach, defensive line coach. But the game may have passed him up. The game may have passed him up. And for you folks that don't know football, and for you folks that do know, especially line play, go back and look. I invoked the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. Okay? They were penetrating the line of scrimmage. They were penetrating that A gap, that B gap, that C gap. That's the gaps between the center and guard tackle and tight end even. Penetrating. Or blowing the offensive lineman back off the line of scrimmage. The technique that is now taught is what I call catch, grab, hold, find. Instead of penetrating the line of scrimmage and blowing it backwards into the offensive backfield and causing havoc. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's say your left offensive guard. Cam Hayward blows him back a yard, 2 yards even, into the backfield. And let's say the right guard was pulling to the left to try to get outside. What happens to that right guard? He runs right into Cam and the left guard. Penetration. That's just one example. The new technique of the defensive lineman immediately grab on to the offensive lineman, and they're holding him, and they're playing their responsibility, but then they're supposed to find the ball, right? I hate it. I hate that technique. First of all, is it working for your Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line right now? I do not like this technique. And like anything in life, I always use the pet rock theory. Pet rocks. You people who don't know what a pet rock is, believe it or not, in the 70s, a guy made millions of dollars because he put rocks in a box and called it a pet rock. Everybody had to have a pet rock. Ha ha ha. We gave Grandpap a pet rock for his birthday. Ha ha ha. Mommy got a pet rock for Christmas. What are you going to do with your pet rock? I'm going to sit it right here. What do you feed it? Nothing. It's cheap to feed. Ha ha ha. The guy made millions. Well, maybe I should bring the pet rock theory back. Hey, you're listening to Let's Talk Steelers here on iHeart Radio. What I'm saying about the pet rock is it was a fad. Football's the same way, right? Remember when the greatest show on turf was a passing spectacle, and this is a passing league, and people want to see touchdowns. Okay, yeah, it is passing league. In fact, it's probably a 50-50 ratio between pass and run. This fad, this pet rock fad of defensive linemen not seeking to damage, inflict punishment on an offensive lineman, but instead catch him, hold him, and find the ball, It ain't working. It ain't working for your Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to see L.C. Greenwood, Dwight White, Joe Green trying to do one thing. Get past the offensive lineman, find the running back, or if the quarterback's dropping back to pass, kill him. Kill him. It might be time for a change at the defensive line coach position, but we're in season, so that ain't happening. Hey, I want to switch over to the locker room now. Aaron Rodgers, where are you at with him? What are you thinking about him? Huh? I was sold out on him when I saw him in Latrobe. Sure, he's not as fast as he was. He's 40. Okay, I'm 60. I ain't what I was at 50 or 40 or 30 or 20. But I tell you what, that wrist release, that quick release that Rodgers has, that knowledge he has, it's there. It's there. He's got weapons. Darnell Washington. You gotta be pleased with Metcalf. That man ain't human. He's from another planet, that Metcalf there. I don't know what they feed him before games, man, but that guy's a player. Let's go inside the Steelers locker room this week as they get ready to take on the New England Bean Eaters. And listen to Rodgers and his answers to different questions and perspectives. Then we'll be right back to Let's Talk Steelers, where we'll head over to the locker room at Stil'rs International, Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. And we'll talk to my good buddy J.T. Thomas.
Mike talked yesterday about when he was asked about, was he worried about the hits you've been taking? He said Aaron's been pretty durable during his career. I looked it up. You're the most sacked quarterback in NFL history, but you've been, been able to play a lot despite that. Have you learned anything about sort of how to absorb that, getting tackled by 300-pound dudes?
Nothing special. I've broken a couple collarbones getting tackled before. I got tackled and cracked my knee one time, but just playing football.
Aaron, what stands out to you about New England's defense so far this season?
Well, they got some new players, and those guys are playing well. Both their big acquisitions in the offseason, 97-2, have been off to a good start this season. It looks like a Vrabel defense, the way they fly around, different looks they got. Aggressive blitzing nature that they do, so they're playing good on defense.
I know you guys didn't start off with a touchdown in this game, but you at least got points, and you've gotten points on both of the opening drives in both games so far. What are you guys doing well, whether it be game planning or anything like that, specifically allowing that for you guys to produce points?
I think it's good play calls from Art, and then we're just executing at a high level. We still had a chance to get more on the first possession. We had a chance down the sideline to Pat, and then stalled on a makeable third down. But Boz bailed us out with a good kick. But when we go down 7-0, we get the ball back. We got to respond with 7, even up that game, keep the crowd in it, and we had a chance to and didn't.
From your perspective, what's kind of the next step that you'd like to see in the run game going into this week?
10+ yard runs, I think. That's what Pat wants to see. That's what Mike T wants to see. That's what Art wants to see. Our backs are slippery enough. We got to get them up to the second level clean. So we just, I think just keep hitting our aiming points. It's not always on the line. It's sometimes, the combination block, sometimes the track. So we just got to be perfect in our execution. If the track is supposed to be a certain way, let's run that track. We're supposed to capture an aiming point. Let's capture an aiming point, and then. We've seen our backs on secondary players has been a good matchup for us.
What have you learned about Jalen Warren just in the time that you've gotten to know him during practice and now in a couple games?
He's a quiet guy. He hasn't seen Point Break before, which was surprising considering it's a surfing movie. He's probably seen North Shore. I actually haven't asked him about that yet, but he's kind of what I thought from afar. I think the biggest compliment I can give him is, when you're behind a 4 straight 1,000-yard rusher, you're seen as a change-up back. And, he's a guy who could be a number one back on any team in the league. So really thankful for him. I think the play that he had the other day was one of the greatest catch and runs I've seen. Donald Driver had a crazy one back in 2009 where a guy fell over his back and he was drilled on the 5-yard line and somehow got in. But that catch and run and those jukes that he made was pretty incredible.
Mike said yesterday that he feels great about this offensive line. Do you share that sentiment? Do you want to see any improvement there?
I feel great about the offensive line.
Aaron, going to Foxborough has been a quarter-century nightmare for this organization. How have you done in Foxborough? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't know that we've won. We lost there a few times, so you already
I
know.
looked it up.
Yeah.
0-2. You're 0-2. That's all.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
teams
we
that
had
you
a
were
chance. We were up 5 last year with like 2 minutes left, and they hit a big pass. We were tied with them going into the fourth, 18, I believe, and then got beat by a couple scores. I didn't play in 2010. Matt Flynn played well, but we gave up one of the greatest plays I've been a part of in my NFL history, and that's when Dan Connolly had a kickoff return that almost went for a touchdown. Hated that it was against us, but as a lover of the big guys, when they get opportunity to show their athleticism, there may have been a few of us on the sideline who had a very tiny, quiet go on that play. But, it'd be nice to get a win there.
Aaron, after the game, we talked about how the Seahawks dropped in a lot of too high zone coverages. It seemed like they weren't fighting as much on play action last week. How do you counter that as a passing attack beyond just running the ball? How do you counter that when you see that, okay, they're doing this a little bit more often?
We got to run the ball. If they play too high, you got to run the ball. And that's the last 5 or 6 years coming out of the Seahawks 3 that went around the league. You got to run the football against these combo coverages and too high coverages. So you run the football, you have a chance to have some good play action stuff.
Aaron, you're talking about how the loss could be good for you guys. In what ways would you like to see you guys respond to turn that into a good thing or to reverse course kind of thing?
I don't like getting too binary, but winning, that's a good response. But we can't get attached to the binary system that our league is judged on necessarily, because it is a 17-game season and the process has to be great. So just dig into the details in the process, enjoy it, practice well, and then let game day take care of itself.
Because you guys have a pretty young offense, you have to maybe repeat that message, not to us, the message, but maybe in the room too, to not get caught up in the...
I'm telling it to you guys, so you guys get it out there so they see it. No, we have a young team, but we have guys who played a lot of football. John has played a lot of football, DK, Isaac, Kenny G, myself. So there's a lot of guys that can echo the right message every week.
I know you guys have only had one full day of practice, but how have you seen the response? What have you seen from the guys this week so far in response in practice?
I haven't seen anybody hanging their heads. The most important thing, like I said after the game, is it's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't ride the ups and downs. You have to embrace the results that happen and take a look at your process every single week, whether it's a win on the scoreboard or a loss. And great competitors know that sometimes their best is not going to be good enough on some days. But your best is not just a game day performance. Your best is a weekly accumulation of how you prepared on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, how you practice Monday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the communication that you exhibited during the week as well. So as long as we stay on those things, game days take care of themselves.
2 more. Aaron, Wex mentioned the playing in New England. Do you keep track of the stadiums and road stadiums and how you've done in them? Is that something that you've got stowed away somewhere?
On the wall, yeah, at home.
I know this
Will has a ball.
I know this might be breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but do you have plans to do any outside media availabilities once a week, whether it's on McAfee or anything this season? Because I know she hadn't done any for the first couple weeks.
No comment.
Any other final football question?
Aaron, you guys have been efficient in the red zone. What do you feel like there are elements of your team that could make you continue to have that trend, and what would you like to see to continue along those lines?
We got a different group, with a lot of unique skill sets. We have small, fast, quick guys, and we got a couple, real big guys. and then a couple, Janus and Connors and Pats, in between guys. So we've only got down there 5 times, I believe. That's not enough. We need to be down there, 4 times a game, I think, on minimum. And then you're cashing in at least 3 of those with touchdowns. You're going to be, I think 25 points a game was top 10 last year in points. Our best year in Green Bay, we were 80% in the red zone. But anything above 70 is really good. So we got to get down there more often. 5 times in 2 games is not enough.